Welcome back to another installment of In Any Arena. If you like our content, give us that CLS treatment, that comment, that like, and subscribe. And again, thank you for watching. Let's get into it.
What's good, bro?
What's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. Good, bro. Listen, man, I saw this crazy stat on CBS Sports the other day, and I figure we gotta talk about it. It's the thing that I would have never thought to compare these guys, right? Because, like, it's just why would you compare these guys? But,
Right.
however, Jamarcus Russell was in the news a couple months ago when he did his interview. I think it was on the Pivot. Zach Wilson is always in the news because, hey, you top pick, you're not playing well, your team was playoff bound and have lost like three of the last four. But it's the New York Jets. What did y'all expect? I hope Jets fans didn't get too excited. Um,
Right.
uh, but before we get into all of that, before we go into any of that, listen, people, we need that Mercedes Benz treatment. And I mean, today, right now, CLS, not the S class, not the G class, not the G wagon. CLS. Comment, like, subscribe. Yo, Dub, let's get down to business. Zach
All right.
Wilson, Jamarcus Russell,
Right.
these
Right.
guys are on the same playing field. Why is nobody talking about it?
That's a great question. Let's go ahead and just look at the statistics real quick, and I'll go ahead and present my screen so you all can see what we're exactly talking about. So I was very surprised that someone was able to draw this parallel between Jamarcus Russell and Zach Wilson, and I think CBS Sports did a really good job of like really digging up this information and comparing the two. I mean, look at the statistics here through 22 career starts. Zach Wilson 8-14, Jamarcus Russell 7-15. Passer rating 70.9, Jamarcus Russell 70.8. Zach Wilson has 15 touchdowns, Jamarcus has 16. So when you look at these numbers, they're very comparable, right? But there's a difference in which they talked about Jamarcus Russell as they
Very
do
different.
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, they keep continuing to call him like young, this
He's
young
just a
kid.
kid.
You
Kid.
know, no, he stinks. Like Zach Wilson, he sucks. With Jamarcus Russell, it wasn't the fact that he sucked. He just didn't have the wherewithal to even pull it together to actually get on the field and actually put together a decent performance. And that
Mhm.
could be due to a myriad of things. The team sucked. Like the team legitimately sucked. But when you look at Zach Wilson's team, he has way more talent around him than Jamarcus Russell had. So when you look at the situations both in its totality, I mean, I think Zach Wilson is actually worse than Jamarcus Russell because he actually has a good coaching staff and he has talent around him. So that's just my take on the situation. I just wish that they would put more emphasis on him not playing well as opposed to saying, "Oh, this is only his second year. He's a development project." No, not being the second overall pick in the NFL draft. You're not a developmental pick. No, you're picked to make a change to the franchise. See, if the Jets would have thought through their picks a little bit more, they would have picked
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Justin Fields. And you can't tell me if Justin Fields was on that team right now that the Jets would not be in the playoffs, right? Like they'll be locked down as a bona fide playoff team.
Oh yeah, the way that Justin Fields is just playing lights out for the Bears, even though they can't win any games, he's been playing miraculous. Like there's a Justin Fields highlight almost every week.
Yeah.
After Sunday,
I think he
um,
have 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Right at 1,000.
yeah, and it's crazy because I saw a stat the other day where they talked about the Jets would have been in line for Trevor Lawrence, but they went on like a winning streak at the end of the season and won like three games they weren't supposed to win. I think it was they beat the Broncos. Um, I can't remember the exact teams they beat, but they beat like three teams, and that knocked them out of getting the first pick, and put the Jaguars in place, who went 1-15 that year to get Trevor Lawrence, and that's how they ended up with the number two pick. But
Mhm.
I think there have been some people who have been critical of Zach Wilson, who were critical when people started hailing him as the next potential Joey Broadway when they were projecting him to go to the Jets at number two, and they started talking about his play. There were some people that were like, "Hey, I don't know if Zach Wilson is who people are saying he is. And I mean, here, Ryan Fitzpatrick said the other day that he's done in New York. I think he's done in New York for sure. Uh,
Absolutely.
I don't think that there's any coming back from this with this, kind of like meltdown, so to speak, that the Jets have had over the past couple of weeks. Again, 5-6 weeks ago, being in my power rankings, and now, not even being in the top 15, if you ask me, in terms of teams. So I think the onus is on Zach Wilson to some extent for the play. Um, and again, if I have to make an all-out, pick, like you said, between the two, I'm picking Jamarcus Russell, just because I think that if you were to put him in the Jets system with the weapons that the Jets have, and EJ Moore and Garrett Wilson, and so many other guys, I think they would be a much better team right now than what they've got with Zach Wilson. I mean, the guy's lost all of his confidence. But again, that tends to happen in this new age of media. Everybody's talking about him every day. And some of the onus for the Jets play has to go on coaching. It has
Oh,
to go on
absolutely.
coaching because, just in general, a
Well,
few
no,
games.
no, but no. I I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your point. I'm
No,
gonna say
no,
no.
no, no.
I
Go ahead.
disagree because when you put what's your backup quarterback's name?
Mike
God,
White, I think
Mike
is the.
White. We put Mike White out there. It looks completely different, bro. He, I mean,
But
even that one game he threw the 2 interceptions, they
Even
were
with
still
Mike
in the
White,
game.
even with Mike White, they had a chance. I think it was week 12 to beat the Vikings. They had a chance to
Mm,
beat them. I caught the end of the game. Um, and a lot of the play calling was suspect there near the end. A lot of
mm,
suspect play calling. They didn't put a young quarterback in a position to go ahead and close out and win the game. And again, that's a tough one to call because we've seen what the Vikings can do, right? We saw
mm.
what they did
Yeah.
to the Colts, biggest comeback in NFL history. The Vikings are just like that. And at some point, we got to talk about Kirk Cousins, man, and all the flack that he's gotten over his career. But consistently, he's able to make teams compete. He's a competitor. I like that about him, if not anything else. But we won't get too far down the rabbit hole on them. I think the coaches gotta take some of it, man. You gotta put a
Oh
guy like
man.
this. You gotta put a guy like this in a position to win. He's not. You're watching him every day in practice. So see, this is where the coaching comes in. You're watching him every single day. We don't get to see him every day. We see him on Sundays, Saturdays, Thursdays, Mondays, whatever day they play that given week. That's the only time we see him when we see the product they put out. You guys are
Hmm.
watching him in practice against your ones, against your scout team. So you know what he's able to do, what throws he can make. You know how his decision making is. You gotta call a game plan that puts your team in position to win.
Right, but what happens if you can't call anything? What if you just like, come on, man,
Then
bro?
you,
But
then
Thursday
you
night, bro. Listen. Thursday night, 18 attempts, 9 completions, 92 yards, 1 interception.
right. Again, you
What
got
can you do with that?
if you got a guy that's not confident, you've got to put him in a position where throws are being made, that things are setting the game up to get him comfortable, get his confidence up. You got to do that. You can't come out there and just call the game plan you was going to call if Mike White was playing, who again has no pressure at this point because he's not the starter. He's coming in. He can play. No, there's no sweat. But you got a guy who's already been benched earlier in the season. You bringing him back out. He's starting in prime time. Put the guy in a position where he can't mess up.
I'm gonna say this: when they played the Lions, what was that last week? He did okay. He did okay. I think he threw for over 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So to you, there may be some validity in your comment there. Maybe the game planning is not good, um, surrounding like some of the play calls that he may be comfortable with. But also too, man, I think Joe Flacco, NFL, Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, who's the backup quarterback. Hopefully, he's been taking Zach Wilson under his wing and really kind of like helping him develop.
Yeah,
Because it's very difficult to win in this league, like the NFL.
very
And
difficult.
so you got a Super Bowl. winning quarterback on your team, he should be doing everything in his power to build up Zach Wilson. So hopefully that's happening behind the scenes, and hopefully Zach Wilson is receptive to that criticism or feedback that Flacco is giving him. It appears that he still has some maturing to do, so I'm not sure how receptive he is to that feedback. But man, they have their work cut out for them. If I were the Jets, I would be looking to bring in someone like um, Derek Carr or even Jordan Love from the Packers to kind of shake things up and use that Wilson as trade bait. Um,
So
so
I've heard that surprisingly, a guy that they're saying they should look at is Joey Garoppolo. And
oh
I think it
please,
wouldn't be. Listen, Joey G. You
Jimmy
know,
G.
you gotta Joey. I said Joey G. Forgive me, guys. It's Christmas Eve.
They're gonna grind you in the comments about that. Oh, I
They
stopped
gonna,
watching because he said Joey G.
they gonna
We all
grab me.
we all make mistakes. Like
Yeah, Jimmy G. I mean, bro, he's not as bad. People give him such a. I don't know why people hate Jimmy Garoppolo so much, bro.
I don't know
Like
why either.
his record. I'm gonna pull this up because I like to speak from fact, and sometimes we all are wrong.
I
But
wouldn't pick him up because he's too injury prone. That's just me.
he's
But
35-17 as a starter, and again, you tell me the Jets can't use this guy. 49ers already got their quarterback, and they just kept him in case he got hurt, which he did, and then he got hurt. So if I'm the Jets, this is a guy I know can win, a guy with the other pieces we have, with the defense we have, with the young receivers and skill players we have. This is a guy I know can get us to the playoffs. I know we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now if we had this guy. I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy Garoppolo in a Jets uniform. I think that would bring some.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would just get a quarterback that's a little mobile. Jimmy G is not mobile, and someone that's not as injury prone. Derek Carr being one of those quarterbacks that could be available in free agency this year, as well as Jordan Love. Maybe Zach Wilson needs to be shipped off to Green Bay and sit behind Aaron Rodgers and watch Aaron Rodgers and see if he can pick up anything from him. But I think Jordan Love is not a bad quarterback either. Kind of just looking at him in a few games and checking him out in the preseason, with the talent that they have in New York, the New York Jets, man, I think they can. I think they can um beat the Bills if they had a good production from the offensive perspective. So
Yeah,
that's
they
just
can
me.
definitely compete.
Yeah, they definitely can compete. They definitely can compete.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Cool, man. Hey, we're gonna put a bow on this. Zach Wilson, Jamarcus Russell. It's a toss up. I'm taking Jay Russ. Dub said he's taking them too. Let us know in the comments who y'all would take. If you only two quarterbacks in the world, you need a quarterback for your team. You taking Zach Wilson or Jamarcus Russell? Let us know what you think.
I'm taking a mentally healthy Jamarcus Russell over a lot of quarterbacks.
I'm taking Jamarcus Russell on the lean over a lot of quarterbacks. The kid can throw 70 yards from a knee. Let's
See,
be real.
I don't need you to be able to throw 70 yards. I just
I
need you
don't
to be accurate. I just need you
I
to
don't
dink
need
and
you to be
dunk.
able
I
to
just
do
need you
that.
to dink and dunk.
Hey, I don't need you to be able to do that. But again, like he's pointed out, and a lot of people don't, or who are pundits, don't give him credit for it. You put him under the right coaching staff, and you got a guy who's going to make some plays,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
no, I agree.
let's be real. He didn't go into a great situation. That's not an excuse. It just is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, let us know what y'all think. As always, before we go, listen. I love the Hondas. I love the Toyotas. I like cars in general, man. The Maseratis is cool and all that too. But listen, what we need from y'all is that Mercedes-Benz treatment. Comment, like, subscribe. Dub and I can keep giving y'all hot content when it comes to these sports, and we can keep arguing with y'all in the comments. Yo, we appreciate y'all, man. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. Until next time, peace.